As I make this video, it is approaching Christmas time. Over the years, I've heard or read that for 400 years, Christmas was outlawed in Scotland. And I started to wonder, was this really true? Was it against the law to celebrate Christmas for over 400 years? Well, not exactly. Yet Christmas was not really celebrated widely in Scotland until the 1950s. In this video, I want to share a little bit about what laws were passed and why Christmas was not celebrated on a large scale until fairly recently. For the sake of brevity, I'm not going to spend much time talking about how the celebration of Christmas began, how various pagan winter celebrations were taken over and mixed with Christian ones. But it might be important to what follows to note that for many years, the Christmas celebration in Scotland was known as the Yule time and had become a mixture of Norse and Germanic pre Christian customs centered around the winter solstice, with Catholic practices added to make it into a Roman Catholic holy day. The term Yule is still used in the Scots dialect to refer to both the Christmas time and the Hogmanay, our New Year season. Because of its connection to both pagan, often superstitious practices, and Catholic celebrations, many of the leaders of the Protestant Reformation, which took place in the 1560s, were opposed to the celebration of Yule and other such days. After all, there is no mention in the Bible of celebrating the birth of Jesus, nor do we know the exact day on which he was born. The General Assembly, the Supreme Court of the Church of Scotland that meets each year to make laws and customs for the Church, met in August of 1575 and among their rulings made the following declaration, which I have attempted to translate into modern English. They wrote, that all days that hitherto have been kept holy besides the Sabbath, such as Yule Day, Saints' Days, and such others, may be abolished. They then called for civil penalties against those who would celebrate such days. On the 2nd of June 1640, the Scottish Parliament passed a law that said, again translated into modern English, the Estates of Parliament presently convened by His Majesty's special authority, understanding that the Kirk within this kingdom is now purged of all superstitious observation of days, and hitherwith also considering that the keeping of the Yule vacation hath not only relation to the superstition, and may serve to keep the same memory, but also that the keeping of said Yule vacation hath interrupted the course of justice in this kingdom to the hindrance and heavy prejudice of the leagues thereof. Therefore the said estates have discharged and simply discharges the foresaid Yule vacation and all observation thereof in time coming, and rescind and annul all acts, statutes, and warrants and ordinances whatsoever granted at any time hitherto for the keeping of the said Yule time vacation, with all custom of observation thereof, and find and declare the same to be extinct, void, and of no force nor effect in time coming, in order the court and session of the College of Justice and senators and members thereof to convene and sit for the administration of justice without any interruption by the foresaid Yule vacation. I will leave the interpretation of all that to better minds than myself, though when I read it, it appeared to be focused on making sure courts and sessions continue to meet instead of taking a Yuletime holiday break. In any case, the legislation, and probably much more the church ban on the celebration of Yule, had the effect of making open celebration of the Christmas time not very common. Records do show that some were caught still celebrating. For example, I read of 14 women who in December of 1574 were brought before a kirk session in Aberdeen for playing, dancing, and singing carols on Yule Day. In 1686, during the rise of Episcopalianism, some of which I cover in various other videos about Covenanters and the killing times, much of the 1640 Act was repealed and Yuletime was allowed to be celebrated. However, after the restoration of William and Mary, an act was passed in 1690 that again stated that Yuletime celebrations were seen to interrupt the course of justice and restated essentially word for word the 1640 Act. Then, in 1709, the Treaty of Union took place which joined Scotland and England together with one parliament that would meet in London. The English had continued to celebrate the Christmas season, and so shortly after, in 1712, the 1711 Yule Vacancy Act was passed, again overturning the previous law against Yuletime holidays. Still, in Scotland, the church for the most part frowned on the celebration of Yuletime, and so most in Scotland continued not to celebrate Christmas openly. Over the years, it had become the custom in any case to celebrate Hogmanay, the Scottish form of New Year's Eve, as the bigger winter festival. Hogmanay still remains a major event, with large gatherings, especially the one in Edinburgh, and the singing of Auld Lang Syne, the traditional Scottish song set down by Robert Burns. It was not until after World War II that it became more common to celebrate Christmas in Scotland, perhaps due to its rise in popularity in the United States, which declared Christmas a federal holiday in 1870, as well as being influenced by writers such as Charles Dickens romanticizing Christmas. Still, it was not until 1958 that Christmas was declared a national holiday in Scotland, with Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, being declared a holiday in 1974. So there you have an abridged version of why Scotland did not celebrate Christmas for most of 400 years or so. May you have a blessed holiday season, and until next time, goodbye.